Hello everyone, I am GCROCK, and a few days ago Ubisoft made a worldwide reveal and they revealed a new Tom Clancy game called XDefiant. There's been a lot of discussion about this in our community and there's a lot of different opinions, so I wanted to share them with you today in today's video. I asked my community and I asked my supporter group as well what was their opinion on this announcement and what they felt of XDefiant. So we're going to share some of those views today. I'm going to discuss them with you. I'm going to discuss my own opinion as well. Different sort of video. I do hope you enjoy it. Please make sure you hit like and share if you do to support the video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe for more content from me. We're on the road to 40,000 subscribers now. I'd really appreciate your support. And once you're done with the video, make sure you comment with your opinion down in the video comments. I want to read them. And also check out our fantastic community. That is linked at the top of the video description. We're approaching 15,000 members now. It's a great place to be. You won't regret it. Come and check us out. Now let's head straight into the opinions and what people think of this XDefiant announcement. So the first comment that I wanted to discuss was this one from StretchyBoy69 in my supporter server. He says it should have been a Splinter Cell. Everyone else is wrong. On a serious note, I will give it a try because it's free to play, but I really hope it's more team-based and not so much solo PvP. I prefer having a good laugh with a team around me. So why I want to bring this up is because a lot of the community are saying that a Splinter Cell was being asked for. There hasn't been a Splinter Cell in far too long, and they feel like it's a kick in the teeth that they're seeing a game like this is being announced, and yet so many people want a Splinter Cell game. There's more feedback that we're going to go over that kind of covers why people are so disappointed that this type of game has been announced. But yeah, people want a Splinter Cell. Ubisoft aren't listening is what a lot of people are saying. Next is a comment from Dak949, again from the support server. He says, as a huge Tom Clancy fan, it was really disappointing to see a game look a mix of Call of Duty and Apex with Division visuals. Tom Clancy has always done games that are different to anyone else. I agree with many that this is a play to be able to make quick cash. This is a comment I'm seeing a lot in my server. A lot of people saying this is a quick cash grab from Ubisoft, and they're disappointed with that, especially with it being a free-to-play game as well. They can imagine how the microtransactions are going to be, and it's a game that they're just going to be willing to drop at any point as well if it doesn't work out for them. We'll go more into that in a moment. We've got some more comments that mention this. And next up is a comment from Buku, again from our supporter server. He says, my first thought when I saw the 28 seconds of gameplay on IGN was an Overwatch ripoff. It has been stated that it looks a bit like Overwatch, which he's not wrong. He says not entirely that though, but the similarities are definitely there. Second, the title XDefiant sounds like they thought, hey, you know what kids like these days, anything that starts with an X. Also, Tom Clancy, there should be a story for the Tom Clancy games. XDefiant won't have a campaign, he assumes. Remove the Tom Clancy and the X from the title and it'll immediately improve, he says. Also, they do realize they picked the only faction in the Division 2 main game without healers to be the healers. The gameplay and the visuals look good, just nothing special. The whole thing seems like it was pushed up by higher ups at Ubisoft, trying to tick as many boxes as possible. If it's a cash grab, at least they put some effort into it. I might give it a try once it comes out, but I doubt it. So we touched on quite a lot there, and a lot of my opinion as well. Yeah, again, it looks like a cash grab, he's saying. There's loads of people saying that, and you can't argue with that. It looks like, free-to-play game. The thing at the minute, some have really taken off, and they're making companies a lot of dollars. So they're trying to get in on that market for sure. But you can't blame them, though, at the same time. They are business. Why not? This sort of game does work for other companies for sure. So if they can get this game right, it could really take off. It could really do well. It will take a lot of effort, though, in a very saturated market now. There's games like this already out there. They're doing very well. How do you make your mark and get that audience over to your game? It's going to be tough, and they're going to have to work hard for it. And what I want to touch on with the cash grab and where Ubisoft come in, they did something recently with a mobile game, which is a free-to-play mobile game. I covered it a year ago called Elite Squad. It was announced yesterday they were ending that service. Just after 1 year, the game wasn't making enough money. There wasn't enough players. They haven't said this, of course, but what they have said is that there's no more updates and they're closing the servers in October. So they did give up on that project. They put a lot of work in to make it work, but they gave up after 1 year. So that is a concern as well from me. If this XDefiant doesn't work, if they can't break through the market, if they can't get the player base to come over and play their game, are they just going to chuck it away after a year? I think the answer is yes. So the evidence is there with Elite Squad, which is the mobile game they tried a year ago. But Buku does touch on a lot, like a lot that what people I'm seeing, what a lot of people are saying is, Tom Clancy games, they're about story, they're about strategy. They're not this. They're not XDefiant. So you can't argue with that as well. If you look at like the Breakpoint series or the Wildlands, so Ghost Recon rather, you look at the Division, you look at Siege, they're all tactical shooters. Whereas this is just going to be a pick up and play COD style game, which is going to be very similar to like maybe your Overwatch games or your Rogue Company games. It will be team based PvP, but it's very much pick up and play. There's going to be no story, no real strategy. It's completely out the blue for a Tom Clancy game. And that's what a lot of people are disappointed with too, which Buku shows in that comment. And you're probably seeing other comments now, which we're going to get onto. And there ain't a better comment to move on to than this one from Voodoo here. This is again from a supporter server. Voodoo's a huge Tom Clancy fan. He got into Division 2 recently, as you'll see in this comment. We're going to read it out now. But what Voodoo says, he's very passionate as well, which I like. But this is the people that you need to listen to because these are big Tom Clancy fans. And this is basically what's being echoed from all Tom Clancy fans right now. He said, "Here is my honest opinion of XDefiant. As a big Tom Clancy fan since reading the books when I was younger and following his verse, I'm sadly disappointed with this title. As you know, GCROCK, the initial COVID lockdown is when I first started playing Div 2 and started playing the newer Ghost Recons. I came to find my home in the Division as that resonated with me as a compelling world that Clancy would have explored and created a setting that was somewhere between Fallout and a COD invasion aftermath scenario that was unique and early close to reality. I've long thought how awesome would it be to see the Division, Rainbow, The Ghost, and Sam Fisher, even Far Cry be in the same title. I think it would be amazing if done right. I even made a mock-up fanfic on how that could look. Fast forward to a free-to-play FPS. I was excited and hopeful from the tease and let down on the reveal. I don't feel there is any innovation or creativity, just a cash grab. It appears they got COD, Apex, and Overwatch together, took factions from different Clancy titles, and made them characters, maps from the Division, and slapped his name on it. The punk rock theme doesn't mesh well and would have been better served for a Far Cry crossover. There is so much potential to create a unique FPS set in the Division world that can incorporate the other Clancy titles and even give it a Far Cry punk vibe, all while still being believable. That I think this will widely miss that mark. I'm all for Ubi taking risks, but unfortunately things like this are not smart risks in my eyes. There is no compelling reason why these factions are here to begin with, nor why Echelon would team up with three bad guy groups. Fortnite already had this market in celebrity guest skins characters. This appears more like pandering to fans for a quick buck, and with Battlefield on the horizon and the size and scale that will be, coupled with other established shooters, I don't think this game will have much of an impact in my honest opinion. I'd love to be wrong, but given the way Ubi has treated the various Clancy titles, I remain skeptical until I see it. Only time will tell. And I think you can see that how passionate Voodoo is about these games and his gaming. And I think that echoes what a lot, as I've already said, that echoes what a lot of Tom Clancy fans are feeling right now. And next up is a more positive comment. I did have to dig for this, I'm not going to lie. There's a lot of disappointed fans out there right now with this announcement. But Aries09, they said, I'm optimistic about XDefiance. From what they've shown, it looks fun, and fun is what I want out of a game. I did find it weird that they made the Outcast the healers, but that's okay. I'm super happy to have the Echelon back, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, even if it's not in a classic Splinter Cell form. I love that it's free to play, so I'll definitely be putting some time into it. I'm curious to see how they do the battle pass and what sort of extras they'll be putting in to make money off of the game. I'm also looking forward to experiencing the maps in first person instead of third person. I think the perspective shift is going to be cool. So my opinion lies a lot in this comment. To be fair, we're going to go through my opinion at the end. But much more positive take on the game and just taking it for what it is, which is good to see. And obviously, probably like myself, maybe not a huge Tom Clancy fan. I don't know. Like, I've not been in Tom Clancy universe for a long time. It's only really been the Division that I've played, if I'm being honest with you. So my opinion is very similar to that. We'll go over it soon, but much more positive. Just taking the game for what it is and just not taking it too serious there. So I tried to find more positive comments through the posts. I couldn't really find any, nothing worth sort of showing anyway. A few people saying, you know, looking forward to it or whatnot. They'll give it a try. But again, we're going to go back to one or two more comments now, just sharing the disappointment really. And this one's from PFC Wells. He says, to be fairly honest with you, it doesn't feel like a Tom Clancy game that we have all known, such as The Division or even Splinter Cell. I think that it's just a way for Ubisoft to make some quick cash because they slapped on the Clancy name. The demo we saw definitely looks more like a mixture of Splatoons with its cartoon look and the gameplay of both Call of Duty and Overwatch with its special abilities that I can definitely see having game-breaking glitches and bugs within a matter of months of coming out. Now, don't get me wrong, it'll be a game I'll play to test it out, but as far as it going competitive or even having a long lifespan, I can't see it holding out to games that are already out or even releasing within the next couple of months. So we've already kind of gone over that. What I like about this comment though is that he mentions the bugs. I think Ubisoft are known for like bugs, even game breaking bugs at times. You know, this game's going to release. There's a big market already out there where these games are working. Rogue Company, Overwatch, Apex has been mentioned, Call of Duty. And if it releases and there's some game breaking bugs or anything like that, it could potentially kill the game. You've seen it with Outriders, which is a completely different game, but you can see how bugs and a bad release can cost games. So he's worried about that, and that's definitely a worry. It's definitely a concern. So hopefully they go through the alpha testing and they go through all these tests before the release as thorough as they can to ensure that you know it's always going to have bugs on release, but there's nothing game breaking that's going to turn players away. And then the last comment we're going to look at is from Mike. Again, just echoing the disappointment of this announcement. Mike says, I think if you asked the Division community or even the wider Tom Clancy community what game they wanted, a fast paced FPS would not be at the top of that list. From the very small gameplay we've seen, it doesn't look like it's anything too special. I can't see what its USP is apart from the fact that you can play as the factions, which would be a short lived novelty for players. It's also very far from what you'd expect a Tom Clancy game to be, a man that had to remove a lot of excess technical details from his first novel as it was too realistic and in depth. Slapping his name on this feels contrived. Take that away and ignore the fact that it's a Tom Clancy game. Gunplay looked okay, time to kill looked okay, but I don't think this is something I'll be playing much of. My playtime is fairly limited anyway, so maybe that will be the main contributing factor. As it's free to play, I will probably download it and have a look, but in reality, it's just a compilation album like now, just trying to cram stuff in to please the masses. Give me Heartland or more Div 2 or even Div 3. So that's Mike's comment. Again, just echoing that it's nowhere near what a Tom Clancy title should be or what Tom Clancy fans are expecting at all. And that's going to bring us on to the end of the video now and just my quick opinion. I can't hide the fact that yeah, it's not a Tom Clancy game. It does feel like Ubisoft are splashing that title on it, and it could be a quick cash grab, as people are saying. What I'd say about that is I think Ubisoft announced the Division update recently, and they announced Heartland. They announced a Division 2 update as well. Again, a brand new game mode. They announced a mobile game as well. There's so much with the Division 2. And one thing that they mentioned, especially about Heartland, was that they wanted to appeal to the wider audience. They wanted to try and get more people into the games, as to say, so into the Division universe. Well, that seems to be what they're trying to do here. I feel like they haven't got a game on the market like this. I see this very much like a Rogue Company sort of game, which I really enjoy. People are saying Apex. I don't know. Like Apex is probably because of the skills, and Overwatch I'd probably compare it more to. Apex is like a battle royale. That's not what this is going to be. It's going to be a very much like a COD style game. I think there's going to probably be like game modes like maybe capture the flag, maybe, or domination, stuff like that. Or more like Overwatch, or like I said, Rogue Company. It's going to be that sort of game. And there's a big market, and if you can make a game and get it right and get it in that market, there's a huge audience that you can bring over to your title, and then obviously you can then introduce that audience to more of your titles. And it seems to be that's what they're trying to do there as well. So although people are seeing it as a cash grab, I think it's Ubisoft trying to just expand their audience with this Tom Clancy name as well, you know, and they're using the Tom Clancy name to bring in these factions like the Division and whatnot. They're trying to, it is a novelty, like Mike said. And what I don't like about it is like what people have mentioned, that they're not true to the factions, or they're not true to it. Like the outcasts are going to be healers. It makes no sense at all. So I can see why people are disappointed with that as well. It's kind of lazy, maybe. I don't know. Personally, though, I don't take it too serious. I love games like this. I really enjoyed Rogue Company. I really enjoy Call of Duty. I'm gonna have a lot of fun. Overwatch I didn't get into, but that looked a lot of fun as well. So I'm gonna give it a go for sure. It's free to play. There's definitely gonna be money aspects like microtransactions. There'll be a season pass, no doubt. There's gonna be a power you can buy. I just hope that they don't do like pay to win. That would kill it. I recently played Scavengers, which was a battle royale, and it felt like there was some like pay to win aspects to that. That for me would destroy the game. They got to keep it to like a power only, you know, like skins and stuff. Just give everybody a fair playing field. That's the most important thing. And if they get it right, the game could be huge. More than likely, though, you know, it's a big market that they're going into. Will it succeed in that? It's going to take a lot. It's definitely going to take a lot, and only time will tell with that. And as I already mentioned, my biggest concern would be it releasing with game-breaking bugs that will destroy the game. But even if they get past that, if the game doesn't work or it doesn't meet the targets that they set themselves, they will very much just give the game up like they did recently with Elite Squad on mobile. So that's a concern as well. But other than that, I'm not too bothered about them putting the Tom Clancy name on it. I understand what they're doing as a business sense, I guess, but I'm not a huge Tom Clancy fan. It's not like I've been reading the books from when I was younger or anything. So I fully appreciate those comments and feel for those guys. But personally, I'm looking forward to it. But again, this is the end of the video. Please let me know in the comments what you think. Share your opinions. I'd appreciate it. We're experimenting with different videos, and I hope it worked today. Let me know. Hit like if it did. Share to support the video. Hit subscribe if you new to the channel and see more content from myself. And now we are finished with the video. I will be live from 8 p.m. UK tonight. We're doing Division 2 raids and helping by pulling in from streams. So catch our stream later. If you're on PC, you might be able to get in. But now we're done. Do check out our community. It's linked at the top of the video description. Until next time, thank you for watching this video. Until later, until the next video, stay safe and peace out.